Hey guys, Jordan here. In this video, I'm going to answer a real estate photography question. So let's get into it. All right, so today's question comes from Lance. Thanks, Lance, for your question. It says, I just came across your video. Very informative. Thank you. My question is, what software do you use post-production? I noticed your gear is high-end Sony. With gear like that, do you have to do much editing? Also, thoughts on shooting with Micro Four Thirds. Okay, so let me break this down piece by piece because I'm gonna get lost in this question. So first off, first part of your question, post-production. For photography, our main tool is Adobe Lightroom. We use Photoshop as well. Sometimes we use Luminar for certain things. I also like to use Touch Retouch tool for item removals and stuff like that. So I use a combination, but the base is Adobe Lightroom Classic. I guess they have two versions now, the regular Lightroom and the Lightroom Classic. We use Lightroom Classic. The next part of your question is, do I have to do a lot of editing, or do we have to do a lot of editing because we use high-end Sony cameras? And yeah, we do editing. And I think, if you're shooting RAW, regardless of what camera you're using, if you have, there's always some editing that you have to do. So I don't think honestly, if I'm shooting with a Canon 70D, that's just like 10-year-old camera, I'm probably spending about the same amount of time editing those photos as I am editing the Sony. So the editing process of it isn't necessarily easier with the higher end camera. Now it does likely perform better. Maybe there's more information in the highlights and the shadows. Maybe you have more flexibility to boost the shadows more if you would like, if that's the style of the photography you like. Because some of the older ones, or depending on the sensor, it might not perform that well in the highlights and the shadows, which honestly isn't the end of the world. I think too many real estate photographers focus too much on making sure that the windows are crisp. And I think what's really important is to make the interior of the house look nice, right? That's what the potential buyer is purchasing, right? Unless you have amazing views outside, which not all properties do. But some real estate photographers want to focus on those windows where you can see how close the house is next door, or you can see a trash can on the side of the house. So anyways, that's my thoughts. So let's continue with your question. Also, thoughts on shooting with Micro Four Thirds with pro lenses, either Olympus or Lumix. Yeah, I've shot with the GH4 and actually some G7. That's like an older entry level Lumix, or Panasonic. Panasonic is Lumix. So yeah, honestly, you can achieve great results with whatever camera you have. So the sensor size doesn't really matter. Obviously the sensor quality does matter. Some sensors are more sophisticated than others. Some do better in low light scenarios where you can boost ISO higher, some not. But typically you're not boosting your ISO settings too high in real estate photography unless you're shooting in a dark dungeon or something. Then you'd probably see a larger sensor camera perform better in low light, but not necessarily. Some of these newer cameras really do perform really well. All right, so I think that answers your question. Went through it all, kind of lengthy, but if you want me to expand on the topic, or if I didn't answer the question to your liking, make sure to leave an additional comment. I'll make another video. But hope you got value out of this. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, as we consistently put out real estate photography content just like this. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.